Hello guys, and welcome to my 30 days review of World of Warcraft Legion. So, while we are gonna be talking about a few topics, I want to show off just a little bit of the gameplay as well, that you're gonna be doing a lot of yourself when you are playing the game. So, World Quest is basically the thing we do at endgame, and I thought I wanted to at least just show off a World Quest while we go over the first topics that I want to discuss. So, for this first part, I'm going to be discussing World Quests, leveling, zones and traveling. So in Legion we have 5 new zones in total. Well, actually 2 more. That is the Broken Shore, which is a mini event, and the IRSR, which is a zone that is not currently, you can say, populated with anything real content. Then we have Asuna, which is basically Naga and Ashara. This zone has a lot of water and a few fell areas where there are kind of like demons and stuff, but for the most part it's a pretty flat zone. There's not much, hard maneuvering around. It's kind of flat, so you can kind of see now I'm at a beach now where I'm just out there doing a world quest now. And this is kind of the environment that you're gonna be seeing in this zone. I loved this zone for leveling. It was very good. The questing is quite fast, just again because it's not very hard to maneuver or travel in the zone. So let's move on to the next zone, and that is gonna be Valshara, which is the Druid and Night Elf zone. So this zone is the one that I started out with just because, well, I'm a Druid myself, and I thought, let's turn up the in-game music, everything, and have a nice pleasant questing experience for the first 3 levels. And by God, I did. This zone, wow. Honestly, this zone it's not Ashen Vale or Dark Shore Epic, it's not vanilla nostalgia feel about it, but it's still very good, especially for, a guy like me who plays a druid and I'm kind of into this whole lore thing, I suppose you could say. So this zone really blew me away, and again, it's very flat. It is extremely easy to level in, and it just goes so fast. So that is a really, really cool thing. But now the world quest was done here. I was actually just leeching while doing this. It's so fast with add-ons and whatnot. I want to move on to the third zone, which is gonna be Stormheim. So I will just cut it here, and then we can go to Stormheim up next. Okay, so now we are going to Stormheim. So the thing with traveling in Legion is that it's gonna be reliant on flight points, flight paths even. So when you're leveling, you really just want to stress getting all the flight paths, really just trying to explore the map and get full coverage, because the flight paths are extremely important, at least until we get flying enabled. And even then, when you're new in Legion, you still have to do the Pathfinder achievement for flying, which does take like a month or 2 for most people. So flight paths are very important to kind of get. Another thing that you can also do to kind of make traveling just a little easier is collecting certain items, such as the Flight Master's Whistle, or collecting toys like Brawl Feast Idol, Emerald Wines, or you can even go for something like Goblin Glider Kit, which is a very handy thing if you're not engineering, because this is just, I already used 40 of these, so I actually need to go buy more of these. They just save a lot of time. But yeah, look at this beautiful zone when we are going past it now. Well, Shara is just wow. This is such a good looking zone. Honestly, it's one of the best looking zones that Blizzard have ever made. I'm totally into the whole druid and the emerald dreams and all that kind of lore stuff. It's totally nice looking zone. But going to Stormheim now, we are now passing High Mountain, and this zone, I talked a little bit about traveling now, but maybe not enough, because wow, traveling is horrendous in this zone in Stormheim. For the most part, it's doable to kind of just get around things and like find an object. But I want to talk actually a specific example now with a world quest I actually did just a few hours ago. It was down here in Asuna, and basically you're gonna go to Warden's Redoubt, fly down there, and then the quest marker was basically here or something like that. But to get to the mob that I needed to kill, I had to find a portal which had no indication where it was, and that was basically impossible to find if it wasn't because of fan sites like WoW had to kind of help me out. You're gonna see so many of these examples where you're just gonna be scratching your head and thinking, where the hell am I supposed to go? Can I even find the place that I need to go to? Because it's just seemingly impossible to find it. And that's kind of the whole deal with High Mountain. Now, I don't want to say High Mountain is the worst quest experience ever, but it's definitely up there. It was horrible, absolutely horrible to kind of maneuver in these very hard reached places, especially just because, well, look at this mountain, and these are the sort of mountains you are climbing. You know, I'm not even kidding. These are the sort of mountains you're going up to at times, and you need to kind of find like a small hidden cave or something like that. But I think I want to continue now with Stormheim. Look to the sky. This has been such a good, zone. If it wasn't again because it had that whole traveling experience. So Stormheim is Reichel, and Reichel kind of Wrath the Lich King feel. It has those kind of elements, whereas the other zones don't really have anything from the other expansions too much. Stormheim definitely tried to get that nostalgia feel from Wrath of the Lich King going, which I think it was pretty successful at. But yeah, just look at the High Mountain now. Like, there's snow everywhere and huge mountains. Do you see this bridge up here? This bridge there? You're supposed to be going on that at some point. Like, it's insane. The zone takes forever to quest and travel in. It's just so annoying. But now you see High Mountain, it's a little more green, kind of like a Suna, a little more flat. Like, this is the perfect example of, still mountains, but not way too hard to maneuver in. Because again, remember World Quest, the thing we are going to be doing all the time now on level 110 is basically traveling. So you fly to a flat point and then just go to the World Quest. So you have to kind of, know every little map and weird areas and hidden gems in the zones just to travel to a world quest at times, because they are pretty annoying to get to at times. So a zone like High Mountain that is just impossible to maneuver in is just not fun. That is pretty much it I want to kind of, relate there. Oh, and now I did a world quest there, but yeah. I think that pretty much covers it for the leveling and traveling and world quest. I want to maybe just quickly talk about the leveling. Most people start either as Suna or Alshar and then end up in Stormheim and then take High Mountain if they are not 110. The problem with leveling is that it's rather slow and it's very gated. You kind of like on a rail. You can't just do one zone, go to the next sort of gameplay. You kind of have to just follow the very linear questing experience, which for some people is maybe not that fun. But for the most part, people do 3 zones before they are level 110. And currently there's no way to speed up the leveling process. It's all about just playing efficient and doing the fastest questing route that you can do. Because, yeah, there's no Rapid Mine Elixir or any kind of crazy things like that just yet. So the leveling is still rather slow in this expansion. But I think I want to kind of end this world quest, leveling, traveling and zone part here with this little brief overview now of how you're gonna be leveling in Legion. Because the leveling experience is very good. I definitely enjoyed a few of the zones, especially Valsara and Suna, but then you have really bad experience like High Mountain and, well, even Zorama, which is the end game leveling zone. This zone was also pretty horrible and very annoying at times, but that's the end game leveling zones. I can forgive them for making this zone a little bit harder and a bit longer to do, but I don't think that stuff like High Mountain should be so annoying that you pretty much do want to avoid it at all times. So like most people will never will never want to go do high mountain on an old character when they are leveling, just because it's so slow and annoying to quest in. So yeah, that's just my point of view there. So the next part is gonna cover some other things. Okay, so next up I'm gonna cover professions. Why are professions covered in a separate part for a review? Well, it's because I am a profession alcoholic. I really like making gold on the auction house and that sort of mini game in the game of World of Warcraft. You know, I have 3.7 million gold, like that says everything. I really just like making gold on the auction house and kind of tinkering with this. But Legion has pretty much fucked up professions. They have completely went 1080, 360, whatever on this system now. I want to specifically talk first off profession ranks. So I'm just gonna find this one, yeah. So in Legion you are gonna be doing some very long and super annoying profession world quest, both world quest, yeah, so you need to do world quest for professions, but you also need to do profession quest line, and they are like 40 quests before you're done, and then you kind of don't have to do any quest any longer, which is good enough. So 40 quests, at least you can see it as an end. But these quests were completely toxic. I want to specifically mention one example, and you can go on Wowhead, don't have to take my word for it, but people hated this extremely much. So one of the last quests for Leatherworking was to get follow the stupid Elder Horn around in Stormheim, and basically in order to survive this I had to go on the auction house and buy fighter craw, which is a food that increases your out of combat regeneration. And like it took 45 minutes following around a deer in a zone that is very hard to maneuver in. It was extremely bad. And like if you go on Wowhead and look up this quest for the Elder Horn riding, recipe, whatever, people are gonna, you know, they're all negative, There's nobody who thinks that was good content. And I completely agree. It was completely bullshit. Because you have to go on YouTube and WoW and all that sort of stuff. WoW had just constantly for these really hard quests. And like there are so many annoying quests in Legion where you just don't know what is up or down, or you have to check it out all the time. Especially now I'm going a little bit on exploring here again, but especially I want to talk some world quests where you kind of have to, or exploring where you kind of have to look up YouTube guides and all that stuff just to find the area. Like people can make good AdSense money on YouTube just having a channel dedicated to World of Warcraft showing where different places are. But yeah, okay, let's move on, specifically professions again. So in Legion we have ranks for the different items, and it's basically just to reduce the regen cost. So rank 3 costs less materials than rank 1. Fine, that's easy enough. But the problem is that we need 3 of the same recipe. So say this Graven Scale Halberg, which is an item level 850, which can upgrade up to 850, 855 or whatever. It's a decent item. It's gonna sell on the auction house just a little bit, but you have to get 3 recipes in total for this one item. That's completely overkill, and I have no idea why Blizzard thought this was a good idea to have such an excessive grind for professions recipes. It makes no sense. And I especially want to mention just how hard some of these recipes are to get. So back again at the Dread Leather Shoulders. Dread Leather Shoulder Guard reduces the materials required to craft the Red Leather Shoulder Guard. Yes, and I have rank 2 now. But then look down here. What do I need to get to do to get the rank 3? Win a rated battleground. What? I have to go do rated PvP to get a recipe? Yeah, sure. I did that yesterday. So I actually did go for it yesterday because I was like, fuck this, I'm gonna do this. And I spent 2 hours trying to get invited into rated battleground pucks or whatever. And finally we win a battleground. And then it's not even 100% chance to get the recipe. And I need to get 2 recipes through rated battleground wins, not just one, and it's not even 100% again. This is completely insane. Stuff like this, you know, making professions, crafted professions especially, very hard to even just get basically going on basically, you know, low tier crafted items is absolutely bullshit. I want to mention also, I have a mate in the WoW. I think he said he made like 400 flasks before he got the rank 3 version of the intellect flask or something. So he had to make 400 flasks before he could actually get the rank that he wanted. Absolutely stupid. And this just goes on and on and on. The professions in Legion are completely ruined, if you ask me. And there's just no sugarcoating here. This is the worst profession system we have ever had in World of Warcraft. And like, I have been here since vanilla, and yeah, we had some terrible grinds before where we really had to get some crazy stuff, like that was fine. But remember again, this is low tier crafted items, the thing you start out with in the expansion, nothing special, and you have to do a rated battleground to get the recipe. It's absolutely bonkers. I have no idea why Blizzard made crafted professions this bad. Another thing is also, even though I have now played a month and I even use the Blood Hunter enchantment for my shoulders to get more Blood of Sargeras, I still only have 200, well, under 200 of the Blood of Sargeras. And look, this costs 2 Blood of Sargeras. This also costs 2 Blood of Sargeras. You're gonna spend these so fast. You can barely even mass produce items on the auction house without gathering your own Blood of Sargeras now. It's, you know, buying something fast on the auction house, raw materials, then crafting the items, sell it on the auction house. That has been the way that I made gold for years, and it's still the way I do it now. Like, I have very good, like, I make pretty good money making stuff like Storm Shroud armor, Stormstride armor, gloves, pants, you know, transmog shit, also stuff like the Cobra stuff. So I just buy the mats raw and it's done. But I can't do this with any Legion crafted items that are worth making now because of the Blood of Sargeras now. So pretty much you want to have one gathering profession that helps your crafting professions. So that means that if you had 2 crafting professions in since whatever Burning Crusade, they haven't switched out, you know, a lot of rare recipes, and you did hundreds of hours of work for this one profession, it's now useless. Pretty much you want to kind of remove one of them. That's pretty much the sugar coating of it. Of course you can have 2 crafting professions, but it's just not very good, because you're gonna lack the Blood of Sargeras. And yeah, the professions have just been completely ruined, and this is why I wanted to make a separate talk in the video now just for covering professions. Like, there's so much more to talk about professions. Again, you have to do world quests to even get recipes. You have to, you know, do Nomi in Dalaran, where you kind of feed him a lot of food just to get cooking recipes. Fishing is also very grindy. At least you can get some cool things for fishing in this expansion, like a legendary artifact fishing rod. Like, that's cool enough, but it's very grindy as well. Overall, it's just not very good. The profession system has been completely butchered, if you ask me. And again, I want to top it off again. They could not even get profession quests right. It was a complete nightmare. Both dual crafting and leather working was horrible to do. No, I don't even want to think about blacksmithing or other professions quest lines for those professions. They might just be as bad as the 2 that I did now. So yeah, let's move on. Okay, so lastly I want to talk about gearing, RNG and endgame. So in Legion, everyone is complaining about RNG on gear, and to a certain part I agree. So I'm the kind of casual player nowadays in World of Warcraft that doesn't really rate anything, so for me gear is kind of pointless. I just want to get to that 850, 875 maybe gear level, and then call it a day for a very long time, so I can already grind very fast and all that stuff now, but maybe just try to get it a little higher just for the fun of it. But I want to talk quickly RNG now. So my first legendary was this one. Probably the second best legendary that I could have gotten for favorable DPS, so that was very lucky for me. But I have a mate who's basically, you know, haven't gotten anything in 2 or 3 months. You know, that's just crazy. I also have a dude in my guild who keeps linking crazy 80 items from World Quest and stuff like that. And this is also another thing that I managed to actually pick up. I got an 80 relic. 80 relic from a normal mythic. My very first mythic fireman that I do. On the last boss, I get this crazy relic. The RNG is absolutely retarded in this game here for gearing. So basically this item here, it could be 835, but it could also be 880. Right now it's 855. That is the RNG in this game now. The same item can be either very low or extremely high. If you find that sort of gearing fun, well, there you go. This is the gearing in Legion, where we basically collect the same item but just a higher number of item level. Another thing is also really important now in Legion, due to item levels and stats kind of being the most important thing. Stuff like pawn addon is now completely needed. So you have to do simulation craft with pawn, very important, so you can kind of see what upgrades. So like for instance, this pants here, versatility and mastery, gives me 3% more DPS in Guardian than these crit and mastery legs does. That is just one example. Obviously there's some other factors for tank as well as survival and stuff, but this is basically the idea of simulation craft and gearing in the game. So basically hope to get legendaries early on. The first one has to be kind of good, hope for that, because the second and the third one might take a lot longer time to get. And yeah, hope for good relics, because the relics are really important. Again, I got an 80 relic on my first mythic that I ever did. Absolutely stupid luck there. Yeah, it's just very RNG. But early on, I also want to highlight quickly, getting to 810 item level was actually harder than getting to 830. Getting to 810 item level, so you're new level 110, and you're basically 795 or something. But getting those 15 item levels was actually very hard. I had to go to the auction house at the end and buy crafted gear such as these shoulders here or whatever. Without this, I really could not have gotten to 810, which I needed to queue up for heroic firemen. But as soon as you're 810, it's very easy gearing, because then you get casual gear on World Quest extremely easy. I was surprised at how much gear these World Quest gives you. Like currently right now I have a very good healing trinket up. Yeah, not so much else, but like every day you can log on and pretty much get a gear upgrade. So I can just quickly go, what sort of gear have I gotten from World Quests? I think these were World Quests, these were World Quests, these were World Quest, yes. World Quest, got this from World Quest. I think this was World Quest, not World Quest, World Quest. Yeah, you kind of get what I mean. Every single little one of my items are World Quest pretty much. It's stupid. World Quest makes gearing so much faster. And this basically means that, again, we're gonna be traveling, we're gonna be moving around in every little zone every single day, doing World Quest and World Quest and World Quest and World Quest. That's the only thing you pretty much do, at least for the first month or two when you're new in Legion. By then it might stop a little bit, and you could kind of be a little more casual about it and not care too much. But yeah, I think I kind of want to give my final thoughts at the end then. So, final thoughts of Legion. Is it a good expansion? I would say yes, it is actually pretty good. There's a lot to do, and everything that we had before, you know, such as good filemans, good made zones, good questing content, everything has kind of just been more polished and everything. Like we expect these things by now. It's no surprise that Blizzard makes great zones, good flowing combat, you know, good decent balanced game and all that stuff. But there's also just a lot of negativity revolved around the end game, meta game, stuff like running mythic firemans for grinding artifact. People are pretty much just playing for gearing up their weapons when they played like 2 or 3 months of Legion. By then they pretty much just play to get more artifact. Like I have people raving on in the guild chat constantly, oh, I'm like rank 45 in my weapon now. Now I'm gonna do 1% more damage. It's pretty much that. That's the end game for the majority of people who are kind of focused on, what can you say, PvE and kind of character progression. So if you don't feel like grinding every day for a weapon, maybe this is not the expansion for you, because it is very grindy. And yeah, if again we're gonna be doing a lot of firemans. Like I think people who are really into this sort of grinding with the weapons and trying to perfect their gear and get better stats, they have to do like 500 mythics to cap out their weapon and stuff like that. It's pretty insane. But yeah, it's really a good thing to, you know, have long time goals. I'm not rushed about this. I'll get there eventually. The expansion is gonna be like 2 years long or something. I hope for actually more than 2 years, but that's just my point of view. I also want to mention a little cool thing. We actually could go back to Dalaran now. I always thought Dalaran worked pretty well. It's not too taxing on the computer. Like it is pretty demanding zone, but with so many players in it. But still, it's a nice little capital, and it's so nice to be, you know, have a capital that's right there in the zones that we are going to, which is, you know, it just makes everything faster. Because again, we're gonna be traveling so much with world quest and stuff like that. Because for once, we actually do have world content. Like there's a lot of reasons to keep doing world content, even after you maybe played 1 or 2 months. And I hope Blizzard kind of continues on that, because using the world is very cool. Especially when they, you know, they put so much development time, money and all that stuff into making these zones. One can at least hope that the zones are also going to be used, and that's just my point of view. And again, raids, looking for raid firemans, it's all there. It's all there. We even got Violet Hold now. Yeah, who wants to do that? It's like Black Mirage, the most boring one. But yeah, everything just works, and that's the thing with Blizzard and World of Warcraft. Everything works. It's very polished. It's very doable to kind of do, and the content is just gonna get updated. Every patch is gonna, the game is gonna be more, you know, better. But I do, however, want to kind of end it with a little thing for the future. I hope that Blizzard is gonna listen to the community on alt characters, because currently, doing all characters, even with a new patch coming up that's gonna make it a little more forgiving, it's still very bad. I hope that the leveling is gonna be sped up. I hope that the artifact grind is gonna be a lot faster, maybe even something like bind on account. That's just my opinion. But yeah, overall, if you're just into playing one character only, you have a pretty good time right now, especially just for maybe the first 30 to 100 days. Yeah, I don't think most people are gonna play this expansion more than 100 days until they might start to reconsider playing other games or taking a break. That's just the way that I have been seeing it, at least. Because I even had time to grind out some long grinds, like doing fishing or doing the Red Stallion mount grind down in the sewer here. Like I did those things in my 30 days now, and even I can start to kind of feel like I'm running out of content by now. At least I can see the end of the tunnel. So yeah, I think this is my final thoughts. Again, it's a good expansion. It's worth giving a chance, definitely. but it's, you know, it's never gonna be World of Warcraft where you want to log in for the entire expansion, never missing a day. It's just not that sort of game anymore, which is fine for me. I like to take breaks in games and come back later when new stuff is going on or whatever patch updates might come. So yeah, I hope you found this review not too long and kind of interesting. You know, this is my thoughts, this is my point of views of World of Warcraft in 2016 with Legion. So yeah, I think that pretty much rounds it up. Again, thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.